Hi everybody, I'm Jack the Rambling Raconteur. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a good start to this week, a safe start to this week. It's Tuesday, so I thought I'd do a quick, Tag Tuesday, Tag Tuesday Night tag. Brian over at Bookish did a very short tag this past weekend called the Wear a Mask tag, in which he just talks about it's a simple action we can take in our local communities to protect each other, to protect ourselves, but to protect each other. And on the rare occasions I have to go out, I wear a mask. I had to take my daughter to the doctor, not for a fever, but for something else. And she got to be a ninja and wear a mask, and that's sort of the philosophy we're taking. So please be doing that. But Brian had three quick prompts: find books where a character wears a mask, conceal something about his or her identity, or wears protective gear like over the head. So science fiction, of course, lends itself to this. I could have listed 20 books, but I wanted to grab Joan Vinge's The Snow Queen, just because that mask is fantastic, and it's more like ceremonial. But the characters are wearing masks like in the prologue of this book, and just outstanding. Another one that came to mind is really more of a long story or novella by Jack Vance, who's like his Dying Earth works are fantastic, and The Moonmoth is a great science fiction story where there's characters who are wearing masks to disguise their identities as they're trying to they're going around, and there's basically a small internecine conflict going on, and so it's quite interesting, and the description of the masks is quite detailed as well. That brings us to someone wearing more of like protective gear, and that would be the Non-Existent Knight, the titular Non-Existent Knight in Italo Calvino's novella / short novel. His name is Aeschylus, and he famously is a non-existent knight. He won't lift the visor of his on his armor, and he's asked, well, why not? And he goes, well, I don't exist. And so they get him to lift the visor for the king, and there's nobody inside the armor, but he's like this paragon of virtue and courage. And there's a whole mystery involving this non-existent knight that I won't spoil for you, but I highly recommend the book. And then I kind of thought there's sort of two bonus masks for you. One is not so much a mask, but it's throughout the 1001 Tales from the 1001 Nights, there are characters who are wearing veils. Women who wear veils, and that pops up as that's not a mask per se, but it feels analogous, and for cultural purposes, they're wearing the veils. And that's an important note in Aladdin, because Aladdin is going to be the one person who sees the princess without her veil and see her face and fall in love with her. So in that story, that becomes a major point. But the one that really, as soon as I saw Brian do this week, and I was like, oh, I know what I'm grabbing. And it would be the final play within the Oresteia, which it's a Greek tragedy, but the third play, the Eumenides, is not really a tragedy. The Greek chorus in this play is made up of the Furies. And so the Greek, drama, they wore masks. There are a whole series of anecdotes and legends about what happened when this third play was staged in 5th century Athens, at the festival. And that when the Greek chorus came out with the masks of the Furies, that there were people fainting or having strokes or giving birth. I mean, it was just like the most astonishing, horrifying thing they'd ever seen in their lives, was this group, walking out with these masks as the Furies. And then over the course of the play, the Furies become the Eumenides, which means the gracious ones, and sort of accept this sense of justice and forgiveness and mercy, rather than constant blood vengeance. And so it's really a courtroom drama, not a tragedy, but the Furies, their masks, outstanding. So that's the Wear a Mask tag. I don't know if you've read any of those works, but feel free to comment if you have. I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks.